Hey guys, I'm Wolfie, and today we were talking about the 49ers front office being frustrated with Brandon Aiyuk's contract. This is via Tim Kawakami, not an article, but a quote. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to jump right into the article, quote, and read it, and then break it down, and then give my opinion after breaking it down. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. I know that there's still frustration about the way Brandon Aiyuk handled his bitter negotiations last summer. Now, that's not saying that they regret giving him this contract. Saying I know there's still frustration about the way Brandon Aiyuk handled his bitter negotiations last summer is saying that they're still frustrated about to this day about how it went down. Not necessarily the fact that they gave him that contract, but just the fact that how it all unfolded. And we all know it was that way. We all know that it was bitter itself. We all know that this was the case from the jump. Because even Brandon Aiyuk, after he signed his contract and had his press conference, he was saying this himself, that, hey, man, I could have handled this better. That's an actual quote from Brandon Aiyuk. He himself did not like the way he handled it either. And that members of the front office were never thrilled about giving him a $30 million a year on the eve of the regular season. We know that as well. Because if they were thrilled about this contract, if they were thrilled from it from the start, they would have given this contract way before the draft. They would have given this contract in June, May, where it would not have dragged on as long as it did. If they were actually happy about this contract, this would have been done a long time ago, and all this headache would never have occurred. Now jump into the next part, and a team that absolutely hates setting contract precedents probably doesn't feel great in retrospect for buckling and giving Nick Bosa $34 million a year, which still stands as the highest paid salary and most guaranteed money in the league amongst defensive players 2 Septembers ago after his long holdout. Now, this doesn't say, oh, they regret giving money to Nick Bosa. They're just it's almost the same thing they're saying about Brandon Aiyuk, just not thrilled about it because they had to set a precedent. They had to do this. We all know they don't like doing that. They like getting some discounts, trying to work their way, team-friendly deals. Every team likes doing that. But that's also another opinion piece of him saying, I feel like that probably doesn't feel great in retrospect for buckling and giving Nick Bosa $30 million. He's giving his opinion, saying they probably don't feel good about it. That's what he's saying there. He's not saying they actually regret giving Nick Bosa this money. This is his own feelings of what he feels like the front office is probably feeling themselves. Not something that he's hearing around the office, not something that he's heard from a source of any kind, just that, A, they don't like setting these record contracts. So, in turn, they probably don't like giving him this money. But they gave him this money, and there is no source saying that they regret giving Nick Bosa this money. This is just him saying probably based on his assessment. Now come back to Brandon Aiyuk. Nowhere, and I mean nowhere in this article does it say they regret giving Brandon Aiyuk the money, $30 million a year. They do not regret doing that. And we've already established the fact that, yes, we already knew that they weren't thrilled about giving him $30 million a year. We already knew that. That was the whole precedent that was set when he was signed. It took all the way up until literally a week before the season started. We knew that. Because if they were thrilled about this contract, they would have done this a long time ago. So we already know that. So we're bringing up something that we already know, that they're never thrilled about it. This is ridiculous, the fact it's getting out of hand, saying they regret doing this. And what the real source of that probably is when at the beginning of the quote, it says they're frustrated about the way it was handled. They were frustrated about the way that it was handled, not frustrated that they gave him $30 million. And we all know, even like I said, from Brandon Aiyuk's own words, I probably could have handled this better. When has a player ever said that? So even he knew that he took it too far. So it hurt them a little bit. I get that. But it does not say in this quote, they regret giving him this money. They're frustrated giving him this money. They're frustrated about how it was handled. We have to read between the lines here, people. We have to read between the words, not play a game of telephone and just make assumptions out of it. Now, going up to the front office and my criticism of this, if they are still frustrated about the way he handled this situation, get over it. Get over it. You're getting paid millions of dollars to get over it. It's been done. It's been set already. Time to move on. You're getting paid millions and millions of dollars to move on. Let it go. Because I'm telling you right now that if you're still frustrated to this day, that it still bothers you how he handled it, and how you feel a little jaded, how you feel a little upset what he did last offseason. And don't get me wrong, it was probably the worst handled contract situation ever. And it was probably the most dramatic contract situation I haven't seen in a while. Like, seriously, it was that bad. It was brutal, right? And it didn't help the rumors that are coming out, people's opinion pieces suddenly turning into fact. Didn't help. But it took so long, so much drama to get there. I understand where that frustration probably comes from. And again, Aiyuk felt the same way. He backed it saying, yes, it got out of hand, man. And I took it way too far, for real. But they got it done in the end. So with that being said, it's got done. You need to move it behind you. You need to move beyond it. Get past this. If there's actual still frustration in the office, and Kawakami has heard rumors that they're still frustrated about how he handled it, now that they signed him, they need to get over it. You're paid millions of dollars to get over it. Because what you're doing is causing more animosity, and animosity is not good for a relationship. And if you have a bad relationship with your number one wide receiver, Brandon Aiyuk, it's not going to help him feel comfortable in the offense. It's not going to help him feel comfortable around the facility, which in turn will affect his play. Comfort is a big deal. You need to live with it, own it, and act like it never happened at this point. It's been months. I understand maybe a month or two into it probably bothers you, and then him getting hurt, like, oh my God, we went through all that, and just for him to get hurt in the end, like, obviously you wouldn't say that, but like internally, you know that you would think that in your head, right? In your heart. But we're in a new season. Everything's going great. If they are truly still frustrated about how it's going down and what happened, get over it. Time to move on. That's why I said John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan and the rest of the brass. Get over it. If there's still frustration about how they handled it. I haven't heard the frustrations about Nick Bosa. Have not heard of frustration about how the contract they gave him. Haven't heard anything about that. Debo, none of that. The only time we've heard about frustrations is with Brandon Aiyuk. Probably because it was that bad. But you're paid millions of dollars to not be in your feelings. You're paid millions of dollars to get over it the next year. So yeah, but I just want to clear this up. Real talk, breaking down the actual quote. You saw it yourself. Nowhere does it say that they're frustrated with the contract they gave him, nor do they say we regret giving him the contract. Literally, it said it's frustrated how it was handled. How it was handled. And that we already know that they were not thrilled about giving him $30 million because it took all the way up until the start of the season. If you're thrilled about a contract, right, it's not going to be one that takes all the way up until the week before the start of the regular season. You don't have to be thrilled about every single contract that you sign. That's negotiations. That's happened. That is natural. You're going to win some and you're going to lose some. We knew that already. I'm sure they weren't thrilled giving Bosa that much money. Fans weren't. There's some fans that were not. I'm sure they weren't thrilled about it. They weren't thrilled about how much money they had to get Debo at the time. No one's thrilled. No front office should ever be thrilled about having to reset the market, about having to give someone highest paid money. That is just common sense. So let's calm down with the whole, they regret giving him money. Oh my God, they're not thrilled about it, so they regret doing it. They're frustrated by giving $30 million a year. No, they're not. They're not happy. Very detailed in the comment, in the quote. They're not happy with how he handled it. And Brandon Aiyuk himself has said, I wasn't happy about how I handled that. The last thing I'm going to say is get over it, front office. If you're frustrated about how you handled it, it is 2025, start of the new season. Everything's going great. You got Robert Saleh. You got Brant Boyer as your special teams coach, right? You have to focus on signing Brock Purdy. You can't afford these distractions. Can't afford these issues. And if you're going to have animosity with Brock Purdy's number one wide receiver and you're not thrilled about it and you're showing it to the player still at this point, get over it. Because that's going to affect the team. That's going to affect his play. Comfort is a real thing. And that's what I have to say about it. So that's real talk. And I feel like, let me know what you guys think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? yeah, just let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like this video, it helps me out a lot, helps me grow. And sub if you haven't subbed already. I make videos just about every single day, if not some shorts every single day. Try to go live just about every other day or every other 2 days, but very consistent on here. And I appreciate you guys if you'd be part of this wolf pack, part of the wolf den. And at the end of the day, this channel is just about having a great conversation. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys next video, next live. Bang, bang, nana gang, baby.